candidates were admitted into the chamber for screening. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, who chaired the session, said that the exercise was approved by the Committee of Whole, adding that the Senate would be thorough in its constitutional duties. The nominees were thereafter screened one after the other, with senators asking probing questions to ascertain the competence of the nominees. At the end of the exercise, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio subjected the outcome of the exercise to the approval of the House. The nomination of all the nominees, they were thereafter approved by the senators. The Senate President congratulated all the nominees for the success of their exercise and prayed for the grace to put in their best for the benefit of all Nigerians. The 7 ministerial nominees forwarded to the Senate for confirmation by President Bola Tinubu last week are Dr. Nentawe Uwada, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Mamadou Migadi Dingyade, Minister of Labour and the Employment, and Bianca Odinaka Ojuko, the Minister of State Foreign Affairs. Others are Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, Minister of Industry, Trade and Development, Idi Mukhtar Meya, Minister of Livestock Development, Right Honorable Yusuf Abdullahi Etta, Minister of State Housing, and Dr. Suiba Said Ahmed, Minister of State for Education. The Federal High Court in Abuja has stopped the Central Bank of Nigeria from further releasing monthly financial allocation from the Federation account to Rivers State government. The court held that the receipt and disbursement of monthly allocation since January this year by Senate Governor Siminalayi Fubara is a constitutional somersault and aberration that must not be allowed to continue. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that Justice Joyce Abdulmalik, who issued the order on Wednesday, held that the presentation of the 2024 budget by Fubara before a 4-member Rivers House of Assembly was an affront to the constitutional provision. Specifically, the judge said that Fubara's action in implementing unlawful budget having not been passed by the appropriate House of Assembly marked gross violation of the 1999 Constitution he swore to protect. The judge therefore restrained CBN, Accountant General of the Federation, Zenith Bank and Access Bank from further allowing Fubara to access money from the Consolidated Revenue and Federation account. Delivering judgment in the suit filed by Rivers House of Assembly and Right Honorable Martins Chike Amewule at the Speaker, Justice Abdulmalik held that the CBN was under obligation to ensure that the right thing was done before money from Consolidated Revenue and Federation account are released to the beneficiaries. The court subsequently issued an order of injunction which restrained CBN, Zenith Bank, Access Bank, and the Accountant General of the Federation from permitting the withdrawal or use of the funds from the Consolidated Revenue account and the Federation account by Rivers State government until the budget of the state is passed by the appropriate House of Assembly. The judge held that the House of Assembly under Right Honorable Martin Chike Amewule remains the legitimate House of Assembly in view of the Federal High Court judgment which nullified and set aside the House of Assembly of Victor Okojumbo-led 4-member House of Assembly and upholding of same by the Court of Appeal in Abuja. Earlier, several objections raised against the hearing of the suit in Abuja look outstanding of the plaintiff, lack of reasonable course of action, among others, were dismissed by the judge for being unmeritorious. Counsel spoke on the outcome of the judgment of the court.
Let us explain in very clear terms. The section 120, 121, 122 and 123 of the Constitution clearly stipulated what should be done before the state can spend money, state expenditure. And it's clear there that no money shall be appropriated without an appropriate bill being passed by the House of Assembly. It's very clear from the judgment of Motosho, which was confirmed by the Court of Appeal.
And now to join us on discussions of Abuja Court stopping CBN from releasing allocation to Rivers State government, we have Barrister Monday Mawa, who is joining us. Thank you so much for joining us at this time.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, all right. So how would you react to the court judgment stopping CBN from releasing Rivers State monthly allocation?
Is is painful that we have gotten to this point where that order of that nature will be made. There is a popular saying that when two elephants fight, it is the grass or the grass is there that we suffer the most. Now, the fight between the two elephants, who in my own view now is Wike and Fubara, has gotten to a point now that the entire citizen of Rivers State will be the victim of it, and it's quite unfortunate. Now, if you have been following the story of Rivers State for quite some period of time now, you realize that this is just beyond issue of the House of Assembly passing budget and not passing budget. Now, I think a couple of weeks ago, we all witnessed the local government election that took place in Rivers State. It was as if they were going to fight war. It was like another third world war. And then you also observe the local government election also going ahead simultaneously in other states. And most of them, you did not even hear anything. Even the neighboring state of Akwa Ibom, they did local government election, there was no noise. At the Jingawab, other states, Benue, and name them. But you ask yourself, why is the issue of Rivers State so different and peculiar? You see, we should be very careful that we will not end up winning a fight and losing the war. Because the people who are going to be adversely affected by all of this fight of the gladiators will one day decide to rise up to the occasion. And I think at this junction, I'll be calling on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Ahmed Tinubu, to rise up to the occasion. Because the Rivers State issue today is like two people that are dragging something that they both have a common interest on. This one does not want to compromise for the other. This one does not want to compromise. The whole of this issue is just all about Wike. Let us be sincere with ourselves. Now, I think a couple of months ago, some 27 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, in a video, live video, came up in a joyous moment to say they have decamped from the party that brought them into office, which is the People Democratic Party, to the All Progressive Congress. And by the Constitution, as a member of the State House of Assembly, the day you defect from the party that sponsors you to the seat before the end of your tenure, you would lose your seat. But eventually, this person decamped, took group photograph in a daylight activities. And then the next thing we started hearing was that, oh, they did not actually defect. And then you ask yourself, were they playing? So, but the point is that the president need to come into this issue. Because if care is not taken, I'm envisaging a situation where Rivers State, if all of these issues are not clearly managed, if they are not carefully managed, that state may go up in flames. Because those people, you don't hear them. They are not like every other state. An average Rivers State man is ready to die for what he believes in. And Wike himself knows about this truth. They stood by him, even when the federal government, the federal mind was against him. His predecessor, or the immediate past governor of Rivers State, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, was out to fight Wike using the ministerial power, using federal mind. But Wike stood, not because he was too strong, but because the entire citizen of Rivers State, they all stood with him. And Wike must also understand that these same people that stood with him yesterday, they are standing with Fubara today. All we are having now at the moment, they are one court judgment, another court judgment. No, the whole thing is getting tiring. I think the only solution to my mind in respect of Rivers State issue is nothing more than a political solution. Anything other than that, I can assure you, we'll just be moving around the circle. And government will suffer, governance will suffer. Now, the issue agitating my mind from the time I heard about that judgment, though I've not had opportunity to read about the judgment because the certified copy of the judgment is not out yet. The only thing agitating my mind was that if the fund meant to keep Rivers State going is stopped, they just like stopping a conduit pipe that supplies water to another neighbor. If it is stopped because of the stubbornness of one person, let me put it that way in a loose term, the aftermath effect may be too drastic. And that is my worry. Because if you say no allocation should go to the state, how will the state run? How will the machinery of the state function? Of course, His Lordship in his wisdom and giving judgment, and I know for sure that the affected party will go, they will immediately file an appeal to it. But I think we need to
all right, Barrister, since you mentioned that the people of Rivers State will be the one that will be at the receiving end of this court judgment, so what is the way out? Would you advise that the governor, that's Siminalayi Fubara, represents the budget so that peace might reign, or what other solution would you probably suggest to the people of Rivers State and the government?
My suggestion is a political solution. Because, you see, don't forget this issue of their defection is it for the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, which is the apex court or the final court in our country, is yet to give or to reach a finding in respect of their defection. Because to my mind, if you ask me in a layman term, I use that word layman term in a very loose term because the Federal High Court had already delivered judgment in that subject matter. I think he went to Court of Appeal. My Lord, the Honorable Justice Oyewole led the panel, who also upheld the judgment of the Federal High Court, delivered by Honorable Justice James Omotosho. Now, but then I understand the fact that they are in Supreme Court now, and anything can happen at the Supreme Court. As at now, it is not yet Uhuru yet. Anybody can still win at the Supreme Court. So, but before then, what I will advise is a kind of a political solution so that the people who are meant to benefit from governance will not suffer as a result of power play of two individuals, Wike and Fubara. And Wike is number one in this power play. And I say that without any apology. Wike is the arrowhead of this whole thing. And it's quite unfortunate. A man who enjoyed 8 years successful tenure, uninterrupted tenure, does not now want another person to govern the state. Rivers State is not a personal estate of Nyesom Wike. I think that truth must be told. It's enough. It's hard time we call this spade a spade and not as agricultural implement.
Okay, all right. So what do you think would be the fate of the lawmakers loyal to Governor Fubara now that the court has already said that the Martin Amaewhule-led faction is the correct one? What would be the fate of the ones loyal to Governor Fubara?
Then we go on appeal. They still have right to climb upstairs. Don't forget, the judgment we are talking about today is a judgment of the Federal High Court. We still have Court of Appeal. And we still have the Supreme Court. And we still have Court of Appeal and have Supreme Court. So they will climb upstairs to test the judgment, to test that judgment. And I know that is what they are going to do immediately. So I think that's my position. That's my position.
All right, we thank you so much for sharing with us all your thoughts on the matter. Thank you so much for joining us on Galaxy TV News.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that's Barrister Monday, our legal practitioner. Now, moving on to other stories. The Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned hearing in the money laundering case brought against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to January 21st, 2025. At a resumed hearing on Wednesday, counsel to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Kemi Pinheiro San, said that he had two witnesses already in court. He said his first application was to formally enter a plea of not guilty on behalf of the defendant, even in his absence. Correspondent Kunle reports that Pinheiro San, in defendant's application to enter a plea of not guilty for the defendant, said the right to plead guilty or not guilty is a right that could be waived by the defendant. Michael Adohi, who appeared for the defendant, however, kicked against this, saying that the prosecution's application was made contrary to a subsisting order of justice Emeka Nwiti's court. Adohi argued that the court in a criminal trial is distinct from the prosecution. Citing Supreme Court verdicts on similar matters, he said the application made by Land Senior Counsel for the complainant of this morning is a dangerous invitation to this honorable court. Civil proceedings is different from criminal proceedings, he noted. The defendant's counsel noted that the prosecution's application could not be anchored in any of the provisions of the ACJA 2015 that he had cited, as those provisions do not excuse the need for physical presence of the defendant. The prosecution counsel, however, told the court to dismiss Adohi's argument and go ahead with his ruling on entering a plea of not guilty for the defendant. Justice DeWitt, however, said it might not be possible to deliver the ruling this year. Pinheiro therefore proposed 21st January 2025 for ruling and/or arraignment. The judge thereafter adjourned to 21st January for ruling on the application by the EFCC and/or arraignment. Moving on to other stories, Chairman of Dangote Group Alhaji Aliko Dangote revealed some of the intrigues causing persistent fuel scarcity in the country despite hike in the product. Dangote, who met with President Bola Tinubu along with other key stakeholders in the oil and gas sector, claimed that over 500 million litres of fuel is currently stored in his tank farm, ready for the marketers or retailers to pick up and distribute to Nigerians, but they are not coming forward to pick it up. According to Dangote, his refinery has capacity to produce more than 13 million litres of fuel daily, but since he is not in business of retailing, the products cannot get to Nigerians who need it because the retailers are not coming to pick it. He lamented that he is running at a loss by storing high stock of fuel in his tanks, while Nigerians are groaning in the street without stocks. Speaking to State House correspondent after the meeting, Dangote said he has enough supply of crude and can actually produce more than 13 million litres every day. He said that they can't even supply whatever is being consumed in the country.
And I think we've had a very, very good meeting where now, yes, we will use a market-determined exchange rate and also the, crude price. With that, Mr. President also directed that, yes, NNPC will buy, marketers will also buy. They will be buying just like any other, this and that is NNPC retail. At the end of the day, we have also Afrexim Bank, which I think they are now going to be the go in between. They will now make sure that they are going to be like the settlement bank, between Dangote, other refiners, and NNPC in terms of crude, and then in terms of the selling of the products.
By Mr. President, was made possible also by the huge investment, the courageous and bold investment also of Dangote Group in a local refinery of 650,000 barrels per day refining capacity. The implementation committee and the subcommittee have worked assiduously with all stakeholders, the regulators, NMDPRA, NUPRC, NIMASA, as well as MPA, NNPC, the Navy, and a host of other stakeholders to ensure that this important initiative is implemented, and it is being implemented as we speak.
Now, we move to the international desk for more news.
Hello and welcome to the foreign news. At least 52 people have died in eastern Spain after flash floods swept away cars, turned village streets into rivers and disrupted rail lines and highways in a worst natural disaster to hit the European nation in recent memory. Emergency services in the eastern region of Valencia confirmed the death toll of 51 people on Wednesday. The Central Government Office for Castilla-La Mancha region added that an 88-year-old woman was found dead in the city of Cuenca. Rainstorms on Tuesday caused flooding in a wide swath of southern and eastern Spain, stretching from Malaga to Valencia. Floods of mud-colored water tumbled vehicles down street at high speeds, while pieces of wood swirled in the water with household items. Over 1,000 soldiers from Spain's emergency response unit were deployed to the devastating areas. Rescue services were also rushing eastwards from other parts of Spain. Spain's central government set up a crisis committee to help coordinate rescue efforts.
And that's it for now. Do join us at 9 p.m. for our prime time news. My name is Eripa Misalako. See you then.